All right, folks. So I just had a great question from over here inside the Discord. So somebody asked, FNK asked, how to set up alerts. He says, have you found a way to get your stocks on the watch list to alert whenever a green or a red dot hits? So he's asking how to set up an alert on watch lists. So this takes a certain plan in TradingView. I think you need to have their professional plan. It does get a little spendy. They do charge, I think, hundreds of dollars a month for it. So this is for somebody that wants to take things very seriously, and say you did not want to set up right each individual alert. So for example, on Bitcoin here, if I wanted to get a green dot alert on the indicator, what I would do is I'd come here and hit add alert. And then what I would do, instead of selecting Bitcoin up here, okay, I would click watch list. Okay, so what this is going to do, instead of just setting this green dot alert on Bitcoin, what it's going to do is it's going to set it on my watch list here on the right hand corner. Right, this is all my stocks and all my cryptocurrencies, so I don't have to go set up an alert for every single one of these stocks and cryptos. Right, I have 400, 500 of these. Right, 500 names. That would take me forever to go set up an individual alert on each and every one of them. So what I can do is I can just set it on the watch list. So what you want to do is you want to make sure that you're on whatever watch list. So if you want to do it on your green list, on your red list, on your orange list, I have a bunch of different playlists, right? So watch list is the one where I pretty much set everything on, because this has every single name that I follow, right? There's probably 450 stocks. So if I wanted to set up an alert for when a green dot comes here on the weekly chart, okay, for every single one of these names, for 500, all 500 of my stocks in crypto that I follow, I would just hit down here, hit add alert. And then instead of, again, selecting whatever ticker you're on, which is Bitcoin in this case, I would select watch list. Okay, and then right here is where I would either set the small green dot or the big green circle. On the weekly chart, what I like to use is the small green dot, because that will literally alert you of every single signal. The difference between the small dots and the big green circles are the big green circles actually have this shaded area down here. They are considered to be more bullish, but I just like to see whenever these print a green dot. So what I use is the small green dot. Again, all you got to do is hit add alert, come right here, click watch list. Again, select the small green dot, and then for the sell signals, you would do the small red dot or the big red circle, whichever one you decide to use. That's completely up to you. If you're going off the alerts, we use the small green circle here on the weekly and the small red dot here on the weekly. On the daily and 4-hour charts, though, I will use the big green circle. But on the monthly and the weekly, we use the small, because we want to see every single one on the higher time frames. Okay, the smaller time frames, you can use the big green dots or the big green circles or the big red circles. Okay, those are going to be more accurate there on the 4-hour and the daily. So for the weekly here, again, you're just going to select, instead of selecting that, select watch list. And again, you have to have some type of plan for this to set alerts on watch lists. I don't know what plan it is. I have the highest version of TradingView. I think I spend like $300 a month or something like that for the highest version. I don't know if you need that. You're going to have to look into that. But this is how you set it up on a watch list. So again, I'm setting up a small green dot, which is going to call out every single one of these green dots on the weekly chart on all the names on this watch list. So again, I don't have to go through each and every one of these to set them up, right? To set up an alert, I don't have to click on each, and I'm just doing it on the entire watch list, all 500 names. Okay, and then right here, trigger, what I use is once per bar, and then open-ended. You have to set your expiration. If you're on the plan that I'm in, I get to set open-ended alerts so they never expire. You're going to want to select your time frame, though. If you're on this plan, I'm sure you have open-ended alerts, which means I only have to set it once, and it's going to always alert me on every single one of these alerts here. Every time something in this watch list, Chainlink, Oxy, Abe, Dot, Total, anything, right, prints a green dot here on the weekly, it's going to notify me inside my TradingView account. And then all you would do is select how you want to be notified. So I always use the notify in app, the show toast notifications, the webhook you don't have to worry about. This is just what calls it out over in our Discord. Again, we do call these alerts out over here in the Discord on the monthly, the daily, and the 4-hour. So that's just the webhook. You don't need that. If you want to get an email sent to you when it happens, you can click select email. But normally what I'll do is just select these two here. Okay, these two right here, and then they pop up over here in my log on the alert side. So I can just, what I do is I go through these each and every morning right? And I say, okay, this one has a 4-hour, this one has a daily, and I can make my decisions based on those signals. So that's how you do it. Again, real quick, just right click on the indicator, come up here instead of doing this on Bitcoin, whatever ticker you're on, select the watch list. Again, I use the small green dot here on the weekly chart, so I would select that. I would select open-ended, once per bar, hit create, and then you will start getting alerts on your entire watch list whenever you see a green dot pop up here. Hopefully this helps.